Back TV presents Live to You in America, communicating through programs and services to inform, educate, enlighten, and enrich the entire world.
Welcome to Impact Hour. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Impact Hour. We are privileged and we are honored to come on your way in your homes, your offices, wherever you are. We are honored that you have received us in your homes. And this is Impact Hour. We are sponsored by Believers Temple of Impact Worldwide Incorporated. And we are continuing our discussions on sexual intimacy from where we left off the other time. And we want you to like the page on Back TV, share the page. You can also go on YouTube and subscribe to the page. And we'll come back in 30 seconds.
Fulfilling destiny depends on the choice you make in life. Make a choice today. Join Destiny Impact Worldwide Inc. Watch Impact Hour on Back TV and live stream this Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hosted by Dr. Harriet Ajay. And your life will never be the same. Destiny Impact Worldwide Inc. Shaping lives to fulfill purpose.
Welcome back to Impact Hour. I'm your host, Dr. Harriet, and I have my panel with me once again. On my left is Apostle Maxwell Opoku Afrani, Dr. Opoku Afrani. He is from Christ Liberation Church International Worldwide, and he is in Florida. He's based in Florida. Doctor, welcome.
Thank you.
And on his left is Prophetess Benedicta Kumsin from Harvest Chapel International, New Jersey branch, Roselle Park. And then next to her, it's my own Pastor Ben, the senior pastor of Harvest Chapel International, Roselle Park in New Jersey here. You're welcome, panel.
Thank you.
Oh, we are taking the part 2 as requested by viewers that we should look at the part 2 of sexual intimacy. And from where we left off the other time, there were questions that came in that viewers wanted us to address. So we'll take on those questions and then we'll answer your questions. You can also send your comments, your views on Facebook. And also you can go on YouTube, subscribe and watch. And then whatever concerns you also have, you can send them to us also. Once again, we are sponsored by Believers Temple of Praise and Somerset, New Jersey, 55 Fuller Street, and Destiny Impact Worldwide Incorporated. And then we go straight to the point. Viewers, share the page, share the page, share the page. And I go to you, Pastor Ben. I'll start with you as usual. Last week we were talking about last time we met here, we were talking about sexual intimacy. And there were other questions that came on and viewers brought their comments. And we spoke a lot on the church and then how people spiritualize things and how we don't let ourselves go. So one thing I want us to look at going back to the church. Is it okay, or people view that the church has a prescribed way of sexual intimacy? Do you share that assertion that the church has that notion that people should have this kind of sex, or they should enter into this kind of sexual intimacy?
It's interesting. Thank you for the question, and we thank God we are back on the subject. I think it's important to understand that the subject we're talking about is not an abomination for the church. And it's also, our duty as a church actually to talk about every and anything that enhances or makes the whole human being fulfilled, right? We cannot, gloss over the physical need, right, of any person, of any member of the society or any member of our church. I want to say that from the pastor to the last person in the church, we have spiritual needs, we have physical needs, and we have emotional needs. We have, we say that we are spiritual beings. We live in a physical body, temple. We have a soul. And if you take sex outside of the church, I think you are doing a disservice to the whole idea of God's creation, right? So I want to say that I don't subscribe to the idea that the church should not touch sex. I think the question is how conducive an environment to recreate, to be able to discuss the issue.
Should the church have a problem in discussing that in a very conducive atmosphere?
We shouldn't have a problem. The truth of the matter is, let's go back to the beginning, right? When you look at Genesis, Genesis chapter 1, you look at from verse 27, 28 through to 31, right? There is every reason for us to believe, right, that, before the fall of man, Adam and Eve were having sex. If you want to, say that it's only for procreation, then you're saying to me that after the fall of man is when they started having sex. But I want to go back to Genesis 1:28. Specifically, the Bible says that God told them, he blessed them, and then he asked them to be fruitful and to multiply. I don't think that, from what we know, as far as we all, adults are concerned, from the day of sex, conception, it takes a while before the child is born. And even when you talk about what happened between Adam and the fall and all that, before, Genesis 3 talks about Adam knew his wife and all that, right? There is a relationship that they had. If you realize what Adam said when Eve was introduced to him by God, Adam poetically began to be romantic, saying to the woman, this is now bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. Where did it come from? It's an innate thing that God has created. And so we as humans in the church must be met, in that sense. We must talk about it, but we must talk about it in a conducive atmosphere. If you read Proverbs chapter 5 from verse 18, 19, if you stay on 19, right? Bible says that, you should enjoy the wife of your youth. Beyond that, why would the wise man say that let the breast of your wife satisfy you not only once, but at all times? At all times. Obviously, there is, a part of God's creation. There is every reason for us to believe. There is every, whether it's empirical or explicitly, clear in Genesis or not, there is every reason for us to believe that part of God's plan for us to enjoy life is sex. And yes, in the confines of marriage. The church must be able to talk about it. The church should have a reason to talk about it. If we don't want it contaminated, if we don't want it, have a problem with people, being promiscuous, then let's talk about it and talk about it the right way and have people understand why it is that we are talking about it. It's not because we just don't have anything to do or we should shy away from it. Every tradition, every culture on the surface of the earth, right? Sex is the consummation of marriage. Not just in the biblical sense, but every culture you go into, sex is the consummation of marriage, which means that without sex, the expectation of every culture on the night of marriage is for consummation. So why do we take it out of the church? If the point of consummation of the marriage is sex, why do we take it out of the church?
Wow. Thank you very much. I'm coming to you, Apostle Maxwell. like Pastor Ben was saying, that in every culture, sex is the consummation of marriage. So when you come to the religious settings, whether Christianity or Islamic or Buddhism or Hindu, whatever religious setting it is, if sex is a consummation of marriage, then why does the church find it difficult? Like Pastor Ben was saying, why does the church find it so difficult to discuss sex? Even in marriage settings or marriage seminars in churches. Because when you go to these seminars, they don't even pronounce the names of the organs. It's like it's taboo and it's a problem. So now back to my question again. Should the church have problem discussing sexual intimacy in a conducive environment?
Thank you. Yeah, yes, we should have a very sacred environment to talk about sex. And the study on sex has different kinds of knowledge as you talk about it. There are some of what the church is, the only way the church talks about is after marriage. They talk about it, but they've reserved it basically after marriage. You get what I'm saying? And even they don't talk about it too much, just a little during your counseling, you talk about it. But after that, they leave you to go and, do it yourself. Normally, like in my language, nobody teaches you how to do. You go and you do it and you learn it through doing. But I think they should teach much about it, because sex has been one of the main factors where a lot of marriages have been divorced. A lot. Having been a married counselor for a while, I think one of the, after they complain and talk about a lot of things that they cannot be compatible, they want to divorce, many a time when you go back to what about sex, that then everything boils back over there. You get what I'm saying? So, but I think like Pastor Eli said, we need to talk about it because we are human beings. And come to talk of it, one of the things that we don't do in heaven is sex. The Bible leaves it down here for us. It says that in heaven, they don't make love over there. So far as we remain in this body and we stay here on earth, for procreation, for pleasure, and for covenant's sake, for marriage covenant's sake, there's the need to, what do you call it? It is over here that we will do it. So anything down here, anything done down here, many a times, over here in the US, you are licensed even to do it. Like I always say, but it is only marriage that you are not licensed, because you don't go through any training. And it has been the reason why a lot of people are in prisons, a lot of boys and girls are wayward, and it has to do with marriage. You get what I'm saying? So, like the Bible says that let our whole being be sanctified. It talks about the spirit, the soul, and the body. You get what I'm saying? But what the Christians have done so far, we've been good at, is, we talk about the soul, the spirit, majored a lot on the spirit, left the soul where it is. Let's talk about the soul. We've left that for the Eastern religion. And then the body is not touched at all. It's as if when you even dress like well, there's trouble. Yeah. When you make makeup, when you want to put a bit, polish on the, what do you call it, enhancement on the body, it must, you are touching what should not be touched. You are fleshy, you are carnal and stuff. But don't forget, we are human beings. We are not angelic beings. We are humans. There was a teaching that said that we are spirits, and then we live in a body, and then we have a soul. To me, from my little study and my own observation, it does not work. When you have to operate in the realms of the spirit, it does not. We are human beings, and that is what Christ is coming back to give to us a body, not a spirit, a body. We have spirit that is confined in a body. We will forever remain human beings. We will forever remain like that. So don't let us, the most essential that identify us, we leave it somewhere. And then when we want to touch it as to how to control it and put it in a proper container for it to not behave,
like you are really
then when you touch it, it becomes a problem. Coming back to your question, do we have a conducive, should we have a conducive setting to talk about this? Yes. Even when you look at the Bible says that instead of saying that Adam had sex with Eve, he put it in another language. He knew Eve. That should let you know that that thing is the most sacred thing in the life of a man that should be held so much in a very high honor. Either the marriage is honorable, the next thing is the bed on the fire. So the honor is over there. That area should be kept so honorably. When Abimelech saw Isaac and Rebecca, the Bible says that he saw them, the word he used there, he saw them sporting. Why wouldn't the Bible says they were having sex? Why would those who wrote the Bible, when it comes to those areas, has to put it in another language? You get what I'm saying? Yes, it must be talked about, but there should be a conducive way of respecting the act, honoring the act, and must be talked about very honorably. I believe there should be a conducive. What I will talk to the youth about, so far as sex is concerned, will not be the same way I'm going to talk to the married folks about sex.
Yeah, right.
You get me? Yeah, it's a marriage, from my definition, is about sex. The only thing you don't do with a person when you have not married the person from the biblical point of view is sex. Everything boils down to it. And when I'm divorced with you, the only thing I don't do with you is having sex. When we've broken, what did we break? Sex. We stopped having sex. Does that say that marriage, the pivoting point of marriage is sex? Yes. If I'm not having sex with you, it means that maritally, our marriage is about to be broken. You get what I'm saying? So yes, I believe that there should be, like when you go to school, the same maths that is given to the class grade 1 is not the same thing that is given to what do you call it? Those who are in the university.
Okay.
So there should be the way we have to handle that honorably.
Thank you very much, Apostle. From what you are saying, so in the setting of like marriage seminars where married couples meet, it's not shameful to talk about organs.
No.
It's not shameful. So I find it very weird, I can use that word, like even in marriage settings in the church or in other places that I've gone to, mentioning the organs, it's like, who is this one? You could see the push in people, on people's faces, like you're not supposed to. I will ask you, Auntie Benedicta, do you think that in that setting that we are, we should be bold enough to mention, like for instance, if you are going to give a talk in that conducive environment that we are talking, like marriage seminars, do you think that we should be bold enough to mention the organs? Like, let me use that. I can say that, right? Producers, I can say that. Right? I can say. Like, you can say vagina, you can say penis. Do you think that we should be bold enough to speak that language to the people that are there in that conducive environment?
Yes. We should be bold enough to mention it. My father said something last 2 weeks, that it's not all the pastors are marriage counselors. So I believe that we need to learn those things and be bold enough to teach the church members, because sometimes they go outside and learn all those things, and some of them it doesn't benefit, you know. So it's not a taboo to mention it. So we need to be bold enough to mention it when we are doing the marriage council or when we gather women and talking about those things. And when you talk about it, doesn't mean that you are not spiritual. You know, sometimes when you started talking about it, it's like, you know, some of them, even when the women, I know a lot of women, when we gather like this and then we start talking about it, they wouldn't even mention anything. They wouldn't even utter a word. And those people, I know that they do a lot in bedroom, but when they come outside, you know, they pretend like, you know,
yeah.
But as for us, we are playing, you know, mention it and talk about it. They think that we are spoiled and all that. But I believe that we need to bold enough to mention it and talk about it a lot, because the church needs a lot.
Oh, thank you very much. Viewers, we are still on our topic, sexual intimacy in a relationship or in marriage. And so far, we've discussed a lot in the settings in the church, like, is it okay or should it be a problem talking about sexual intimacy and the mentioning of organs, which comes with it in the church settings in a very conducive environment. And we have made to understand that it's not everything that you can talk about with the whole church or with the whole congregation or whatever setting you find yourself in. You must be able to differentiate or know your audience so that you can be able to communicate effectively with your audience. So back to you, Pastor Ben. You could see that because of some of lack of teaching or lack of knowledge, Bible says that lack of knowledge, my people perish. It's not only in spiritual terms, but it goes down to everything. If you don't know that, last time I said, the thing you don't know will kill you. Yeah, if you have malaria and you don't know that you have to take malaria pill and be taking other pills, it will kill you. So if you don't know something, it will utterly destroy you. So, but taking it from that, I would like to find out from you, or if you have any views on this, that what are some of the causes of sexless behavior or attitude in marriages or relationships? Because people can draw it from there. Oh, my church says we should not talk about it. My church says that it's only missionary. My church says that if it does, my religion says. So you could see that it end up in roommates. They are married couple, but there is no sex, there is no intimacy. So what do you think are some of the causes to these this problem?
Thank you. I think there are a couple of things that, you know, easily comes to mind that would end, you know, a sexual activity in marriage. Even before that, right, just a step back a little bit to, you know, kind of elaborate on whether we should mention these things, the organs in the church. Like we have rightly said, we must create the environment or the conditions to do that. But how do you describe and teach on a subject without mentioning the subject matter?
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
As I was referring to the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 31, God himself, after creating man, said, it is very good. You know, in all the creation, after the creation, he says, God saw it and it was good. But when it came to man, he said, very good. That's right. Which means that the whole body, both outward and inward, is very good. And there shouldn't be any problem, you know, identifying it and talking about it. The funny thing is, I haven't seen the word sex in the Bible yet. But there are many ways in which it is described. Like, you know, the Song of Songs or the Song of Solomon, for instance. There are many ways in which, when you read it, if you don't read clearly, you will think that you are just, you know, literature. But, you know, a little scraping of the top layer and you will know that there are the deep descriptions that, you know, must only be talked about in certain settings. But anyway, when we don't take care of ourselves, right, the desire for intimacy can be affected. And this, most of the time, falls within a woman's purview. You know, the eyes of the man is the gateway to his sexual drive. The eyes of a man, what he sees is what draws him into a desire to have sex. Obviously, that is different for a woman. The woman's ears become the gateway, and the sense of touch becomes a gateway into what opens her up to receive or to have intercourse. Now, we have to understand and educate ourselves in the things that create the conducive environment where you want to have a relationship with your spouse, with your partner. At the end of the day, you are trying to not only just physically connect with someone, but also in a pleasurable way, right? How many of us would just, grab something that is hot on a fire without protecting ourselves, right? In the same way, if I want to have pleasure, I don't want to do it in a way that I'm uncomfortable, or the person that I'm going to engage with is also uncomfortable. So we have to create the environment, the conditions that will make it conducive for us to have the game, play the game. There are other underlying factors that can cause, people not to have, sex, whether frequency or whatever it is. People have said, in fact, I think it was Dr. Miles Monroe of blessed memory who said that sex to the man is like food. So it is his necessary, thing, something that he needs, right?
To fuel him or her.
To fuel him, to get him going. In fact, when you read Tim LaHaye's, Act of Marriage, right, talks about the fact that the man by nature has a sexual drive, and it is stronger than the woman's. So we need to understand each other, where we are coming from, so that we can meet each other, whether halfway or fully, in order to continue the relationship or to continue the feeding of our sex drive or satisfying our sexual need. When there are issues in a relationship, they can find their way into stopping our bonding where sex is concerned.
Like disagreements and
issues that are not resolved, during the day, disrespect that happens during the day, something. And of course, when you do that and you go to bed, and
you turn your partner off.
Your hand goes, it comes, empty. You throw the hook out there and it returns without
no fish.
But all these things must be talked about in a relationship. Whether it's financial issues, whether there is no transparency, there's no trust, all these things fuel into what will make someone, not want to have sex with their partner. I think there are, usually we hear people say, suddenly we find ourselves not compatible anymore. Something drove them to the point of not being compatible anymore.
That's right.
So there are a lot of underlying factors that we need to consider why a relationship that, in fact, one of the major reasons why you get married to someone is attraction. So what happened to the attraction? What did we not continue doing to feed that attraction?
Oh, like you said, feed the addiction.
Yes, feed that attraction, so that you can continue to enjoy the person. Love making has several stratus, scales.
Has what?
Have several scales.
Right. I want you to use that word.
You can talk about compassionate love making. You can talk about passionate love making. You can talk about romantic love making. These are all things that you learn, right? You don't assume. I like something that Apostle said. We marry you off, and then we send you to go and just do what you go and do it by yourself. But in the doing it by yourself, you learn. no one will take you to a room to teach you how to make love or how to have sex. It's not going to happen. There are people who are called sex therapists in this country. Maybe, you know, some of the things we need to do as a church, maybe is once in a while invite people like that into a marriage setting.
Who are knowledgeable.
Who see it from what it is. Not, you know, only the spiritual aspect of it, but from what it is. It is something that must be used to strengthen a bond, to feed each other, you know, not for anything. A woman also needs sex. It is one of the things that a husband uses to affirm for her that she is a valuable partner in the relationship. And if we don't continue to do it, not just because it's a duty, but also because it's a demonstration of our, you know, inward feeling of love for each other, then we're going to kill what we call love for each other. I think there are many things. I will stop here. I'm sure as we go along, some of the video will come out.
Wow, this is very, very interesting. Viewers, I'll after the break, I'll come with a question for Dr. Franny. So viewers, this is Impact Hour, and we are on Back TV live streaming. Like the page, share the page, and you can also watch on YouTube. And we'll be back in 30 seconds after the break.
Amen.
Something big is coming soon to a screen near you. Real time with AB. Coming soon to Back TV and live stream. Streaming live on Facebook. Believers Temple of Praise. Only real recognizes real.
Welcome back to Impact Hour, viewers. We are streaming live on Back TV. You can watch us on Facebook, live on YouTube. You can subscribe. You can like us on our page, Destiny Impact Worldwide. And I'm back with my panel, Dr. Afrani, Prophetess Benedicta, and Pastor Ben Alai. And I'm your host, Dr. Harriet. And like, I'm excited in the studio. I don't know why. From back to, we are talking about sex, right? Yeah. And I like something that Pastor Ben said. We have the passionate, we have the compassionate, and then we have the romance. But I like the passionate one because that takes you to another realm altogether.
I like the compassionate one.
Okay. So then if you like the compassionate one, then I'm coming to you. Because I know that as people stay together, the tendency of your sex drive going into hibernation is there. So, like after you have kids also, it's like, oh, I'm going to take care of the kids. Oh, you see my back, especially the women, we like complaining. And you see, darling, your husband touches you. Everything is and by the time you realize your libido is frozen and you can't get anything. Now it's very even difficult to get yourself there. To arouse, thank you. To be aroused, to start the do and the do. So I'm coming to you. How many times in a week you think that it will be okay for married couples to have sexual intimacy to stop their libido from freezing?
Thank you, Doctor. Anyway, to start that, to answer that question, I want to go through a little bit of what Pastor.
The compassionate and
why there's, sex-less, relations when it comes to why people don't really have sex. It's coming down back to humans where sex is done. There are times cleanliness. Cleanliness. There are times the man won't take a good bath. he smells.
The man smells,
Yeah.
and the woman too smells.
He wants a kiss with that mouth. That he just ate. I mean, there are some women who are extra hygienic or extra clean that won't let go when it comes to those areas. This is what Naomi told Ruth, saying when he was going to Boaz, said, clean yourself. He was going to lay at the feet of, and as a big lady or a big woman who has been in love, training the younger one, was it Jerry? Go take a good bath and then go. That teaches about cleanliness. Cleanliness. It will let, if there are times, there are certain sprays, there are certain
perfume.
You need to smell good.
Viewers.
One
You need to smell good.
I heard TD Jakes said that he hates what do you call it? Women that smell. He hates it. And I don't think he alone hates it. If the woman also smells, it's like Naomi won't tell Ruth to take a good bath, clean herself, make herself.
But Dr. Fanny, some men also smell.
I've already said that.
I just want to make sure that some
Yeah,
men
yeah,
also
yeah.
smell. Their mouth and their armpit.
That is what I said first. Don't.
Their boxers, they won't change their boxers.
Yeah. So both sides, cleanliness is next to godliness. They say you need to be neat and clean when it comes to some of those things. Somebody once asked me last time that should we lick or should we?
Yeah, she said it's
do
licking
and oral sex, as they call it.
Yeah.
It depends when you are not smelling good. How can the person do that with you or to you? Amen. There are times also the way a manner we go about with it. The way a manner we do it would not, if it is one way, it makes the game
boring
or the activity a bit boring. I quite heard the woman from the Church of Pentecost that if you do the style they call doggy, you are going to hell. And then I quoted Job. Job said that if I have taken another man's wife, let another man grind on my wife. You understand that? And the word grind is to stoop. That is to do doggy. The Bible teaches that. So, there are different styles. We're not going there yet right now. But the point that there are different things you do to enhance, make your sex making or love making very creative. Very, 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 very creative. So the way a manner we do it, it's, and like we're saying, when you get into it, the styles comes on them own. You understand that? Because if it's a give and take thing, there are times the woman will say, do it this way for me. And as a man who is not religiously inclined and demonized, should be able to he said that I should do it this way. That is the way to get me there. Come on, you do it that way. I think that is a bit compassionate because it's coming from both sides. I get me. Maybe the man also wanted that way. And the woman, no. Me, I'm not my ass. I mean, I have my abdomen. No kind of thing. No. This one is painful and stuff like that. And if it becomes static and stereotyped, and it is one way, it's boring. It's boring. But the act itself, when you are in it, it calls for the styles. It calls for the actions. You get what I'm saying? And if I'm not going to flow with the action that intuitively coming out of me, then I'm killing something. I think God put it there that when you are in doing it, so that it comes with its own way of going about. That will let sex cause us to do it. There are some ladies that won't make any noise. I once met a lady cousin and I said, you know, we are talking about. So let me be a little bit, permit me, Pastor.
Be free.
Don't judge me. That's what I said. I'm into what the man, Munsun. I mean, when they are making love to her, she doesn't cry. It doesn't make any noise. So how do you come? Or the one I'm about to catch, and that's it. I mean, so means what? That means I have. You know,
I'm all right.
I cannot say. Some are too quiet. The libido of a man can be charged, and the libido of a woman can be charged when we talk in sex. How is it going? Is it going? There you, when you watch some of these things, it's right there. I mean, and the typical African lady at times will not say anything. Will be lying there like I mean, he's sitting down there, and at least when you are a bit, what do you call it, multifaceted, you know, in those things, and release yourself and let go, it turns the libido on. There are times even the noise, the moaning, the groanings of the lady in that makes the man harder. Makes the man harder. And you are there, and you are lying down there, and nothing, and it's. So,
Apostle, how many times in a week?
I'm coming back to it, dude. If these things are not there, how do you do many times? You understand that? You can talk how many times and stuff like that, but when you don't talk about some of these things,
because these things will enhance it.
Yeah, many times. Good, that's why I'm going through those corridors. You get what I'm saying? There are times when the woman is tired. The woman knows I'm tired. You want to talk how many times? The lady before you go on to get inside is telling you I'm tired. How many times can you do? You can't do nothing. By the time you come from it's tired, the man said I'm tired. When the woman wants it seems like a lion, stuff like that. But with my little experience, when you go further, forgetting about your tiredness and do it, it will surprise you that the day that you say you are tired, what you can do. You understand? If we have to listen to the body to do something, but if you are in it with a compatible partner that you are learning more and you are making the thing very creative and creative, I mean, even when you are tired, you want to do it because you might not know the next thing that is about to break forth. How many times do we have sex? You see, my mother in the Lord, I don't know where he was watching, my pastor that raised me, his wife said that, hey, even when I'm tired, that is when I want to do it. There is, so women and married people, don't deceive yourself with tiredness. There are times when you are tired, the only way to get strength back is to do it. You will get your strength back. Normally, they say that when you do it at dawn, the woman is strong and he begins to do things for you. Yes, sex gives you energy. If you sleep, you will not get the energy back. So tiredness must not be a way to have a sexless life. Coming back to my question, how many times do we do it, Mama? It varies. It varies. My point, my cut here is that there is a statistic that says that those who are not married, let's be frank with ourselves, those who are not yet married, you know, who do sex, do more. Especially when you meet the lady or the man and you want to, you know, prove to the lady or the woman want to prove to the good and stuff like that. You do more. It is also said that when people marry, at a point in time, sex life slows down. It slows down completely. There are people who even 2-3 months, they have not done sex. But over here, if it is amicable settlement between the two parties, it doesn't create any problem. My point here is that it is not how many times you do it, but it is how well you do it. How well you do it. For instance, you can meet a man that one slot as a woman can take you for almost a month before you can revive to come for another one. If you meet a very good man who is very orgasm conscious, who can put a woman there, make him what do you call it, clamors as high as it is, and get him to the woman or the ejaculation called squilt. If you're able to get the lady there, hey, that alone takes the what do you call it, the woman a long time even to come back again. You understand? So it is not how many times and how many what do you call it, times you can do it in a night. Man, you are weakening yourself. You understand that women can climax a lot. They have, that is how God has made them. They can climax more than half a man. When you tip off one, you are weak. But women can keep on doing it, keep on doing it, keep on doing it, keep on doing it, keep on doing it. So my strategy is like take one stone and kill 1,000 birds to have a very good sexual life. Don't let us go with the old mentality as if say, how many times I can sex my wife a night, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times in a night. Don't you know you are weakening yourself? You understand? You have not understood the whole anatomy and the orgasm act. You have not understood it yet. That is how it starts. But the knowledge takes you further. As a man and as a woman, the woman can climax more, and the more he climaxes, the more youthful he becomes, and the more sweeter the thing becomes. But as a man, when you hit one and it drop, some of us, at least when you are dealing with an elderly person, he can't get up or revive as the youth. Someone takes like 3 hours before he can get the thing back again. But youthfully, maybe 30 minutes is up. You get what I'm saying? And to start another one. I don't know who you have married to. But when you are married to an elderly person, his strength is not the same as the youthful person. You understand? So our advice, that my principle is that do it well and make sure that it is done well.
Wow.
Is that right?
On that point, viewers,
right.
yeah, that's right. That's right. Do it well. Well, the people in the studio are just too much. It's do it well. Do it well. Not just show like, but do it well. That will carry the woman on and on. And the man too, it will carry the man on and on. So on that note, we go on a commercial break. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
Experience an atmosphere of worship, pure worship, with Nana Osei, the Worshipers album launch on April 14, 2019. Courtesy BB Events and HGMP at 3 p.m. sharp at Tom Ring Hotel, East Legon, Accra, Ghana. Special performances: Randy Ajimai, Pastor Isaiah, Sissy Chum, Reverend Mary Ganser, SP Kofi Sapong, Francis Amu, Ohima Messi, and Stacey Amawi, author of The King's Choice. For more information, call 0263-159-382 or 0203-299-538. This is an event you don't want to miss. See you there.
Help me sing.
Welcome back to the discussion of sexual intimacy on Impact Hour. I'm like, my mind is all over. We are still on the topic sexual intimacy, and I still have my partner here, Apostle Dr. Maxwell Franny, Prophetess Benedicta, and Pastor Ben. Please like the page, share the page, and you can send in your comment. I see Ms. Victoria Amapabi watching us. Hey, my own Bishop Pastor Kanse, you are watching. Sofu Mighty, hey, you're on, and Reverend Beatrice, and all those that are watching, we say thank you. You can also send in your comments, and then we will read your comments. And if you have questions also, you can send in your questions. I'm coming to you, Prophet Benedicta. Apostle was saying that it's not how many times that you have it that matters. It is how good you get it that can take you for a long time. And he was also saying that cleanliness also enhances people to get a game going. Now I remember when we were young, my grandmother used to say something like there was a woman in the house that the woman was selling dry fish, and every time she comes from the market, she would go straight to the room, and then within the next hour you see like screaming, fighting in the room, like soroko jare. Like we were young, but we used to hear those things. So I'm talking to you, I'm back to you, prophetess. Do you see that, do you feel that women, before like they will get to, let me rephrase the question. Do you feel that women should be conscious of their body in terms of getting on the game? Because some women like, oh, I bath once a day. And yeah, so I know somewhere, even in their menses, they bath once a day. And it comes to us, Pastor, it comes to us like my wife, during that period, she doesn't want to take a second bath. And it bothers them. So do you feel that women should be conscious of our body, like cleanliness should be top to get your husband or your spouse to have that sexual intimacy with you?
Thank you, President. It's very, very, very important. Because I'm a woman, I just want to talk about it a lot. Viewers that are watching me, listen very, very careful. It is very, very important as a woman to take good care of your body. Because even as women, if you sit down with your friend and your friend hair smell, you know,
it bothers.
It bothers. Before I used to take bus and then train to work, it bothers me a lot. So how come the man coming closer to you and then it smell like that? Some of us put on weave like 3 months,
4 months,
4 months before they take it off. Some of them braid it and it's like, I don't know, they don't want to take it off, and it's something that it bothers. So we need to take good care of ourselves. Women, as you listen to me, it's very, very important to take to bath. It's good. It's good. I used to tell my daughter, as she was like 11, I started teaching her. And I said that as a woman, you need to take shower twice.
At least.
At least. Even summertime, sometimes I take 3 times. You know, you need to smell good. For your husband, your partner to come closer to you. You know, if you want your husband to come closer to you and you smell like that, you make yourself anyhow. Papa used to say that your breast is like
hanging around.
Hanging around, you know.
Somebody in the studio said, away.
It will not even attract him to come closer to you. So we need to take good care of our body. We need to. We need to take shower. I'm surprised some of them get their menses and they take shower twice at once. I don't know how they do it, because for me, I can even take shower 3 times, 4 times, because I'm not comfortable with it.
Oh, some do once a day.
You know, so we need to take good care of ourselves, because that, let me say, because we are talking about it, so let me say it, I will mention it. That blood that is coming is dirty blood, and it smell. Itself is smell. And if you don't want to take shower, then I don't know.
What else?
And if you continue like this, it will
get stuck to the body.
Yes, and I used to work with a lady. Anytime I work with her with the same flow, I can't stand her. I don't know what it is, but I know that either it's from her mouth or from down there. You know, so we need to take good care of ourselves. And back to the question again, let me say this: the women, we always complaining that we are tired, as Papa said. Yes, we say that a lot. I need to take care of my children. I have to do this. But we have to know that we are there before the children came. I used to tell all my friends all the time, take the kids to the babysitter. Let somebody come in and take care of them. Take your husband, your wife, take them out, sit down somewhere, talk about yourself. I mean, do some, and even sometimes one day, even in the water, just
Go out.
go out. You know, because all these things contribute. It contributes a lot.
Wow.
And there's something that I want to talk about it, but Papa said it. You know, it's not how many times you do. Like he said, it's how well. Let me tell you something. Like he said, if you get somebody that is good, you wouldn't even bother yourself to ask another one. Because the one he gave it to you,
You are okay.
Okay with it.
Wow.
You are very okay with it.
Wow.
You know? So it's not how many times you do, but how well
Yeah, like.
you do. And maybe you didn't miss us, people like that, but if you get one of them, like he said,
It's
the
good.
person is,
Wow.
yourself to answer like.
Well, I could see that these things are like, some of us are talking from experiences, like if you get a good one, it's okay. And I'd like to ask this last question, and then we go on commercial break. And all too soon, our time is, almost gone. Last week, somebody sent in a question that how can you get your partner to climax? And then I would like us to go straight to the point because our time is almost up. Yeah, so we have about 10 minutes to finish this.
Okay.
And then, so, Pastor Ben, how do you get your spouse to climax or your partner to climax?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think that boils down to education, right? What do you define as climax? What does the partner understand as climax? And then what makes the atmosphere conducive enough to get you to the point of even climaxing? I think I agree with a lot of the points we have raised on the table. As far as, you know, how many times you have to do this, I think if you climax and you enjoy it, you will want to do it more. You know, you won't have a problem with I'm tired and all those things. It's a combination of things. We have to understand the functions of the organs that we have. That is what will help us to make use of them to the fullest in order to, one, get the pleasure out of it. I think there's a mistake we make all of the time when we say that, okay, as for men, there isn't much that you need to do to get, you know, ejaculation. I beg to differ a little bit. The reason I say that is there are researches that, you know, tell you how you do the humping. That will determine if you are able to stay long in one, one shot, or how long you can, you know, stay, you know, erected. That goes not only for the man but also for the woman.
Okay.
If you understand the segments of the penis, and then also how the woman's organ, the vagina, is set, right, and how each one understands the use of the organ, would help us to climax. There's a study which, you know, shows that even there are the muscles of the vagina, there are ways in which a woman can use it, right, to her advantage during intercourse. In the same way, the man also must know and understand, you know, the muscles, the different segments of the muscles, and even the portions of the manhood, the penis, that, you know, need to be utilized at what point in order to either, you know, hasten ejaculation or help, you know, bring the woman also to the point where they can both come to a climax. I don't know, you know, how to maybe explain what it takes for a woman to climax. But I can tell from a man's point of view. And there are educational materials that, you know, we should, you know, get ourselves, you know,
into it.
Yes, we should teach ourselves, we should learn. You know, I wouldn't subscribe to, you know, going to get a
porn,
video,
no.
and all those things, right?
Create
But
your
there are
own
materials
thing.
They are educative materials. People have written Christian documents that tell you about, explain the organs we have, how they are utilized, and what you can get as you use them well. Education is always a key. No one was born an expert with sex.
That's right.
But you can learn, and you can also, understand the use of the organs well to be able to make the best out of it. Pleasure, can be, defined in many ways. Somebody, the way you ravage hair is how she gets pleasure. Somebody, a man, the way he feels some pain. People use different things, whips, in all those things, right? That will help them
sex
to
toys
climax,
and other things.
So it's a matter of knowing what it is that makes you come, as we say, or climax, and then having that conversation with each other. If you're a man that ejaculates quickly, right, and your spouse doesn't get there, you will always have a problem, asking her to join you in the act. But if you also learn how to hold off, if it is just staying, not entering so quickly, making sure she's actually very, very wet enough to be able to enter, and the gates are open and you can just enter freely. What makes it possible? What makes it possible for her to get into the position where if you say do doggy, it's okay, or
do the spoon,
raise leg here, and all those things, right? It's a matter of understanding your body, and then communicating it to your spouse. And there are, we make fun of people saying that you touch a woman's breast and then she's coming. No. It's not every woman's breast that you touch that will
it
make
turns her on.
Yeah, so you have to know the part of the human body, or your spouse, for that matter, because we are one man, one wife. Know your wife, know your husband. If it is now pampim, his hair.
You married him.
Whether it's a nail, whether so I know some men are under their feet, and
so these are things we should know.
Oh, somebody in the studio say that behind the ear.
You see, these are things we should know. That will help bring the best pleasure out of each other. And we have to be understanding of each other. If this is what the person needs to be able to climax, to be able to have orgasm or ejaculate, let's do it. I haven't seen any part of the Bible that forbids certain things that in the bed. As far as the bed is defined in Hebrews, it is undefiled.
Whatever makes you happy.
Yes.
Yes,
the things we do indooring, that's why it's indooring. Nobody should know what styles we are doing
or what you are using. Somebody said that even whipped cream.
Yes,
you put whipped cream and cherries.
Yes,
it brings intimacy.
Ice
cream. People have stuff.
Yes, yes, know each other.
Whipped cream.
And for those who say that the missionary thing is the only thing, variety is always good. Whether it's spontaneous, whether it's whether
zoo soup is good.
Early morning, late afternoon, find time, get away. Sometimes in a youthful way, we always say that we find ways to outwit the old people. Keep that thing in the marriage. It doesn't matter how old you are. Do you know that there are people who have been married for over 50 years and they still have date night? They still, after the date night outside, they have indoor. The indoors are always the climax of the thing.
That's it.
So we must continue
feed addiction.
Yes. The thing that brought us together, let's keep feeding. Let's learn. And let's utilize the tools we have, because we have the tools.
Wow. This is interesting. Prophetess, can you add a little to it? Our time is almost gone, so can you add just a little? Why are you looking at me like that? Just add something little, and Papa will finish it up, and then
Okay. Let me say this. As my father said, you know, if you have a food, you eating food and it tastes good, you know, sometimes you feel you full, but because it tastes good, you still want to, you know, eat more. What I want to say is that is how both will do it, and like my father said, then you cram it and then you want more because it's like, you know, you feel good, you know, so you want more. So it's not how many that you have to do, like I said earlier on. And so I will tell the ladies, let yourself go. Put yourself in. Enjoy it. You know, don't say you're tired.
And bring out the stuff.
So you just like, you know, you just lay down, crucify me.
And you romance me.
And like your papa said last time, and romance me. No, put yourself in. You know, sometimes you feel tired, but you know, when you do it, you know, it gives you some energy to.
And it brings the bond.
I'm telling you. So let yourself go. Let yourself go and put yourself in. You know, talk. Papa says something that some of them, you make noise, you give the man energy. Don't say that you don't know how to talk. Say something. Do something. Don't just
make a sound. Make a sound.
Make out the sound.
Even fake the sound.
Yes.
Even if you don't, you fake it. You fake the sound.
Learn it. I remember when I started working in the hotel the first time, and then I heard the noise. I was like, I called the lady who was training me. I said, I think somebody need help or something, because I had never, you know that it's
some people were in action
like that. And then woman looked at me and said, why are you acting like a baby? And now my mind, you know, because my mind wasn't there at that, so my mind just, but I said, oh, okay. You know, even in the hotel, they make noise. Some of them make noise. You see that there's a music going on. They make it loud, but still you can hear the woman's voice. So learn how to do it. If you don't know how to do it, learn it.
Enjoy.
Say something. Enjoy it and let yourself go. Amen.
Amen. Papa, just something little added
something little.
And then let's wrap it up.
Okay, all that been said is good. I'm gonna add a little to it. It doesn't. The question is, how do you get your woman to climax, right? Yeah, I feel that when it comes to orgasm, the man can ejaculate without the woman singly. Some call it masturbation or whatever. Fine. And the women also on their own can get themselves orgasming on themselves. So these two figures that can get themselves to get orgasms comes together, right? I don't need the man to help me get my orgasm. And I don't need the woman to get me to do it. But over here, we are doing it together. So it takes the woman to do what he does to get him come out, orgasm. And it takes the man also to do what he does to get him orgasm. There's a traditional thinking that is not based on knowledge, where the woman says, and it is the duty of the man to get me there. So there are times even take their mind from there, and some would say that for me it takes a long time before I get my orgasm. That is, this saying is most of women. I feel that you are hurting your own self if you leave your orgasm to the man alone to bring it out. And then it's going to take that kingdom come before that thing comes out. You get what I'm saying? Since I can do it on my own to get myself, I don't mind what you think. But that is human nature. Like Pastor Lai said, that you have to understand the organs and the functions of the organs that you have. You can get it coming without the man, and the man can get his own coming without the woman. How much more if the two of us gets together? My principle here is that the same way you do to get yourself coming, when the two of you are together, you understand that. When anyone, if the man is doing it, he's doing it for himself. And if the woman is doing it, he's also doing it for himself. So my point here is that help yourself to come when the two of you are together.
Wow.
You get what I'm saying? Get the principle right. Those who traditionally have that notion that it's the man's duty have to, you know, no. So from the beginning, you need to tell the man, if you do it this way, I can come faster. And I always tell women that the first one takes a little bit of time, but it's not as sweeter as the second one. So why delay and waste your time to keep all that for the first one? Since the second one, the third one, the third, fourth, the fifth climax, it gets sweeter as you go along the line. Why do you stay? Why do you keep yourself to the first one? Get the first one coming, and then there is this anatomy that when the first one delays a little, the second one doesn't delay like the first one. That it's quickened to the time you hit what we call the multiple climaxes. You get what I'm saying? So there is a lot ahead of you than to keep yourself with the first one and delay with the first one, which when we leave you alone, you can get it to come. You get what I'm saying? Now that I have somebody even to also help me to get it out quickly, why won't you get yourself in it and then get yourself out and help yourself? For there are other orgasms that are waiting for you that are sweeter than the first one.
Wow.
With man, like Pastor Lai is saying, we have a tendency of coming just right now. Women don't have it that way. Men do. So as a man, you need to learn. If you don't know, ask and you'll be taught. You know, you have to be taught. This is a teaching that is really on the act, which the church don't have there. We have left it for the world. And we need to go get a set therapist. Well, we have already therapists in the church.
Yeah, what?
People, therapists in the church already, because people are in it doing it. And hey,
so for his viewers, if you need therapists,
the only thing is that he has learned more knowledge.
Our pastor is into it.
My last bit before we end.
We have to wrap up.
Okay.
No, we have to wrap up.
You are telling me how to get the lady to come. I'm showing you.
You
don't know the thing, and I'm teaching you the thing.
So, bring your last one and let's wrap it up. And then
okay. Like Pastor Lai said, they are, when you get into the woman and man, there are stages or muscles levels in the system, in the whole world, the woman world. In the first, we say you don't need a big penis to climax a woman. You don't. You don't. Even if a finger 2 inches of the finger gets into the lady, can get to the highest ejaculation, then it doesn't take a big dick to climax a woman. You have to know and understand the anatomy. You get what I'm saying? They say first 2 inches is the G-spot. Man, why won't you learn it? You understand that? And that you don't need to push it all in there. Just 2 inches can get the lady coming. There are other what you call stages in the system. I will keep it for a good day. God bless you.
Oh wow, thank you, panel. Viewers, this has been an interesting topic, and I just don't like it going away. But like you requested part 2 of the topic, sexual intimacy, we brought it on. I'm sorry we could not read the comment because of time, and I would like to thank my panel, Pastor Ben, always. Thank you so much. And Prophetess Benedicta, thank you so much for coming. And Apostle Papa of Destiny Impact, God bless you for coming. And I know you guys in the studio, you were just cracking up. I don't know what's wrong today. You were laughing. Somebody was telling me things, and somebody like whipped cream and all those things. Hey, if you need more after the show, look out for the numbers and contact the executive producer, and they'll give you more apple. So I'd like to thank the crew. I'd like to thank executive producer Apostle Chagley and our sponsors, Believers Temple of Praise and Destiny Impact Worldwide.